In this episode 97 of the Encourage Inspire podcast, I'm joined by a special guest of mine, my man Matt Fingaz Schilt. You know, he's a name that might not be mainstream, but trust me, his impact on the music scene is definitely massive. From grinding as an intern to becoming a respected industry insider, Matt's got stories that'll make your jaw drop. We're talking about insider perspective from working with some of hip hop's biggest legends, RZA, Kanye West, the kind of names that define generations of music. But this isn't just another war story. This is about passion, persistence, and the raw hustle it takes to survive and thrive in one of the most competitive industries on the planet. Matt's journey is a blueprint for anyone who's ever dreamed of turning their passion into a career. So whether you're an aspiring artist, a music lover, or just someone who appreciates the killer comeback story, this episode is going to hit different. Get ready to be inspired, educated, and completely blown away. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Let's go. Hey guys, welcome to the episode of the Encourage and Inspire podcast. This is episode number 97, and I've got my guy Matt Fingaz Schilt. What's up, bro? How you doing, man?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm good.
Good, good, good. Like I must say, man, you are a long-time music guy, executive, so many things you're doing in the industry, and and we got connected because of our relationship at Full Sail University. And that's how
Shout
we
out Full
that's
Sail
how yeah,
University.
that's how we connected. But you have a long history in the music business, music industry, I should say. You know what I'm saying?
Both,
Yeah,
both,
both. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
both.
yeah, yeah, yeah. One of your great friends is Steve Lobel, and obviously he's a legend in himself. You
Oh
know.
yeah, yeah. I mean, like I started out interning at Relativity Records in 1994 to
Okay.
96.
Okay.
So he was the guy, he was one of the people I was interning for at Relativity. So
Nice.
I was like, Matt, go get me coffee. Matt, go make the cold call for Gavin and CMJ. Matt, go check out the sales on this new Bone Thugs.
Right.
So at that time, it was like Fat Joe, Beat Nuts,
Okay.
No ID, Common, Doug Infinite, Bone Thugs,
Right.
Band Clan. So while I was doing that on Tuesdays and Thursdays, I was at Blunt Recordings, TVT,
Okay.
Monday, Wednesday, and Friday.
Okay.
So I was interning in two spots at the same time.
Wow. Talk, I mean, talk about like the what interning meant back then, because it's a wholly different industry now.
Yeah.
So, but talk about before we get into it, talk about kind of what that meant back then, man. Like, and people were not afraid to go intern to just get in the game. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'll be 100% transparent. I never had aspirations to be in the music business as a
Really?
kid.
Okay, okay, interesting.
I
Same
didn't
here.
even know what
Same here.
I didn't
Same
even know
here.
what it was. I'm
Yeah.
like, what is the music business? You know what I loved? Vinyl,
Okay.
records. I was a
Gotcha.
DJ. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So what happened was I was DJing at college radio at Pace
Okay.
at the time, and I was just like, man, I'm addicted to vinyl. I need more.
Okay.
How do I get more? Oh, wait, I could call the number on these records
Okay.
and I could ask to intern there so I can get more free records.
Ah, got
You
you.
know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So
Okay.
that's how I got into the music industry and business was just wanting vinyl.
Really,
Yeah.
that is so. I always like to ask this question. When was the first time you were introduced to music? And I always get interesting answers. I didn't start the conversation with that this time, but it's like that's so interesting, man, because you never know how people get into this game. You know what I mean? Obviously
Yeah.
now you have degrees that can say music business or entertainment business, but back then it was like, yo. I just want to get in this thing called entertainment. You know what I'm saying? And, like nobody had like degrees in.
No question. No question. I loved the creativity. My
Gotcha.
mom is a creative.
Okay.
I grew up, painting, drawing, playing baseball, basketball, football. So my thing was sports and art and
Okay.
just being free and creative. So through that, I'm a New Yorker. I'm a native New Yorker. Like I
Okay.
grew up, I was born and raised in the city.
Okay.
So all I'm surrounded by my whole life was going to the park, playing
Okay.
ball, and listening to music,
Gotcha. Okay.
right?
Love
So
it.
back then, you're talking, when I first started loving it,
Right.
I would say, I would say like 87, 88,
Okay.
right? So like Big Daddy Kane,
Right.
G-Rap,
Right.
Special Ed, like those were my guys. You know what I'm
Gotcha.
saying? Back then. So I used
Gotcha.
to, you read the lyrics on the inside of the CD, booklet or whatever. And
Uh-huh.
you know what I'm saying? And it was like, I used to wear my hair when I had hair, right?
Okay.
I used to
Okay.
wear my hair like MC Search
Okay.
and Kid and Play. Like my thing went
Speaking
like,
speaking of search, he lives out here now in Orlando.
yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I never
Yeah.
linked with him. I linked with him for the first time. I met him through Steve Lobel.
Yeah.
That was recent in passing, like what's up, but
Yes.
never.
Yeah. I saw him a couple
No,
of weeks ago at because he hosts every Sunday downtown Orlando at this spot called Proper. He hosts there, I believe, like a old school like brunch from like three to
right?
six, and like so I kind of saw him in prep week, like so I kind of same thing, kind of like yo, what's up, man? How you doing? You know that type of deal. So yeah, I thought it was
I never built with him on any
oh
like
yeah,
business or work or anything like that.
cool, yeah,
But
cool.
that's still,
Of
third
course.
base, bro.
Oh yeah, no, for sure,
F
legendary,
Jam.
for sure, man. I mean, bro, this industry. I've obviously I've been in the game since 2006. So and
Right.
I've kind of had to carve out my own path. There's not a lot of people with disabilities and special needs in the entertainment business. So I've had to kind of make it work. I've had to create it, and
Yeah,
it hasn't been easy for me. You know what I'm saying? And
for sure.
part of the reason why I started this podcast is to, you know, talk about the music business, but also interview people that have very interesting stories and try to teach, but just try, like I said, share some cool stuff because I want to learn too. Because I don't have the same history
Sure.
that a lot of the people I talk to have, and that's the beautiful thing about having this podcast. And like I said, for us, the way we connected and the whole, it's just so cool to be able to do this stuff, man. So
No doubt about it. I met some of the most interesting people through it. There's plenty of times people don't understand, relatives don't understand. They'll
yeah,
just go ahead and say, "Oh, you should be doing this or you should be doing that."
hmm
I'll tell you, I've been all across the world,
okay,
right? I've been to Oslo, Norway,
okay,
Kristiansand, Norway, Amsterdam, Sweden, London, Cornwall, England. I've been all over these different parts, right? Canada. And I have friends in all
right,
these places.
right.
I would never have that if it weren't for music,
Absolutely. I say the
right?
same. I say the same thing, man. I've been to 10 different countries, right, all over the world, and they've all been because of music. It's like, yo, this thing called me has taken me places I would never have seen, and so I think the music industry is the toughest industry out there. There is no other industry, in my opinion, that is as tough as the music and entertainment industry in
Film,
general. Yeah, film. Yeah, entertainment in general is just hard. It's not easy, but man, it's so rewarding though. Being able, if you can find your path, find your path. You can carve out a little path here, and it's not always going to be what you think it's going to be, but you just gotta
right?
stick. You just gotta stick with it. You know,
You have to love what you
you
do.
do. You have to.
I could say it's painful at
Yes,
times,
yeah, it
right?
is. It is.
It's an emotional challenge
Yes.
to to be mentally strong. I think that's one of the reasons I like giving back to younger people and
Okay.
I like speaking at different events
Okay.
is because I was the kid who would like basically be banging my fists against the wall, going, "Why can't this happen? Why can't that happen? Why is this going on?" And you, when you're behind the curtain, you
Right.
know, okay, this is why an artist got signed and didn't get signed.
Right.
You start finding out the little truths
Right.
that you don't know. So all the stress, all the low self-esteem, the self-doubt, all the stuff that creeps into your life at a younger age
Right.
is due to a lot of times lack of information,
Right. I
right?
agree.
Now, I'm not saying all of it, like there are parts of it that are just going to be what they are,
Right.
right? But there's a large part of it where it's just understand why your beat didn't get picked and that guy's did,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
And once you get to that reality, then it's on you on what you accept and don't accept,
Absolutely, man.
right?
I mean, talk about like the because when you get into this industry and you can see it from the inside, not from just the fan perspective, but like you said, understanding the politics of the bit of the industry, right? Because
Yeah.
today I always use the term of there's three things. You have the music industry, you have the music business, and then you have the business of music, right? And those are three different things you have to navigate three different ways, right? And I think so many times, even today, I think a lot of artists chase the music industry. And sometimes to me, what I feel like that means is I'm asking for permission. I'm saying, am I good enough, right? Based off whatever they think
They
is,
want
yeah,
yeah, they just want to be they just want to be, they want to exist
right.
in it for whatever reason. I don't like to pinpoint people and say, oh, they're clout chasing
Uh-huh.
or
Yeah.
whatever it is. But a lot of times, you know, I know for a fact
Okay.
when somebody loves it and when somebody doesn't.
Absolutely. Yeah. You could
You
tell.
take if you take a recording artist
Okay.
and you go in the studio and they have to do a take 30 times and they're like, oh my God, can we just leave already? If they say that
Right.
when you're in a studio,
Right. Right. Right.
it's a wrap
Right.
because because I'm going, wait, how about the day you have to do 300 DJ drops?
Exactly.
How about the day you got to do 10 interviews and wake up at 6 in the morning and go do da 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 da? This
Right.
is the fun part.
Yeah. Yeah.
This
Yeah.
is the fun part.
Right.
And
Right. Right.
and that to me, you know, you learn, it's like dating.
Yeah.
Like you just learn the red flags.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
just like you same as sports.
Yeah.
That's why they have psychological profiling,
Yes.
right? Be like, you know what? Yeah, he can play, and this one runs a 40 and a blah 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 blah,
Right.
but
Right.
he doesn't love it.
Yeah.
So when those bumps hit,
You quit.
he's
You
gonna
want
fold.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, look, you have to love this shit. You have to because it will get to those points where like, yo, why am I doing this? Because I mean, every which way through Sunday you got to chase your money. Somebody said they're supposed to pay you. They don't pay you on time. There's so many things you have to deal with along this journey,
It's
man.
countless. It's
Yeah.
countless. It's countless. No, I
Yeah.
mean, I think you have to love your purpose.
Yes, you do. You
Not just
do.
don't love. Like I'll tell you that. Like I'll tell you a very brief story. But
Okay.
I was having a hard time. I think it was 1999,
Okay.
and I went to a club one night, and I was talking to my guy Sir Menelik. I haven't
Okay.
seen him forever. One of Cool Keith's guys.
Right.
And
Right. Right.
I told him how I was feeling. He said, Matt, one day the music, you put all this love and commitment into music, and one day it turns around and says, who are you?
Oh wow, that's real.
And it was very profound because it was a very simple thing he said, meaning it's not necessarily going to love you the way you love
But-
it,
Right.
right? It's
Exactly.
conditional. It's conditional. This love that you get from all these people and you're amazing. Well, what happens when you're having a cold period?
Yeah. Yeah. They don't.
Where are they
Yeah.
at?
Hey, it's like Mike Jones said. What did he say last night? They didn't want me. Now I'm hot. They all on me. You know what I'm saying? I
Yeah,
mean that's a real thing.
it's true.
You know what I'm saying?
It's true.
That's a real thing, man. That's a real thing. Let's get to your story a bit. So talk to me about what you do in launching Just Blaze. I mean, Just Blaze is obviously legendary producer. You know what I'm saying? And talk about the space. Talk about the role you played in that.
I was putting out records under a label called Guess Wild Productions, right?
Okay.
I had an artist, Lace the Booms, and then I had an artist, Mike Zoo, right?
Okay.
And I used to book sessions. Like, I'm telling you, Durell, like, I didn't do things to cut corners. Like, I
Okay.
wanted my records to sound like the ones I was listening to on Stretch and Bob and the ones I was listening to on Future Flavors and
Okay.
Hot 97 or whatever.
Okay.
So I was like, I told my guy Domingo, a music producer, and Buck Wild, right? Two music producers that I met at Blunt and Relativity.
Okay.
And they went ahead and said, I'm going to hook you up with unique recordings in the cutting room and these different recording studios,
Okay.
right? And we would get the 2-inch reels and we would go into these big recording studios. Well, at cutting room, who was the assistant engineer and night manager at the studio? Just Blaze. But Just Blaze, this is 1997 into 8,
Okay.
right? And 89, yeah, like 80, yeah, 98, yeah, around then, right?
Yeah.
Just wasn't Just Blaze at the time. He was DJ Just.
Okay.
Okay, he just loved DJing, and he was another guy. We just had a lot in common. You know,
Okay.
he loved music. He loved the break dancing. He could break dance too. Like
Okay.
just was everything, right? And at night, late at night, when all the sessions were done, Just would be like, "Yo, come into the office," and he said he wanted to play a beat CD, right? And Just would play a beat CD. And it was like nothing I had heard because
Okay.
the beat that I was used to from like the Buck Wilds and the Showbizes and the Diamond D's and the, and the whoever, it was SP 1200, Akai S950, Beat Miners, all that stuff, right? Right. And Just was coming in there with the Triton keyboard and he
Okay.
was playing everything live, right?
Okay.
And he was very intricate. Like these,
Yeah.
this before baseline and before Rockefeller,
Okay.
right?
Hmm.
So I was like, yo, I want to try this with the type of music that I'm putting out, which is the more underground shit, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I start working with him on it. Then I get so excited. I'm like, and there's plenty of interviews out there just talks about this. Like I
Okay.
was taking like it would be like the last day of the month. He'd be like, yo, I got my rent coming up tomorrow. You think you could go to the ATM? I'll do a beat for you, you know? And I used to pay Just Blaze's rent,
Oh
buying
wow.
beats randomly, right?
Wow.
I would sell, but then I started selling some joints for him too,
Okay.
and I would start introducing him. So my guy Mayhem at Penalty, I used to go up there with the beats from Just, and he would play them for half a mil, and he was
Okay.
doing records for half a mil at the time.
Okay.
Then I introduced him to Durell and Clue over at
Yeah.
Platinum Island,
Shout out to
right?
Duro.
I
Yeah.
really was bigging him up, even when he wasn't in front of me. I was like, "Yo, you gotta check out Just Blaze. You gotta check out Just Blaze," right? And then he started creating a rapport with all these other people. Now, mind you, he did have a record with Harlem World,
Okay.
right? With Blinky
Hey.
Blink and all that stuff, and Mace and all that. He had this
Yeah.
one song with, I think his name was Sam. He co-produced this record with. But that kind of like, this was just an organic friendship,
Got you.
like that basically turned into like us doing a gang load of music together.
Oh man, man, that's so cool, man. When you think about the sometimes how the organic relationship. This is a relationship business. It always has been,
Yeah,
and it always will be, man. And I would have to say the music industry itself is very small. It's like literally like 6 degrees of separation. You know what I'm
maybe
saying?
less.
Yeah,
I,
yeah.
I have a song out there that I did with Just, ironically,
Okay.
called 1 Degree of Me.
Oh wow, nice.
And on there is like Game and Quali and Large Professor and Rozelle and Just, and I put all of them on one song. And then at the end, I gave away my email address to hit me up for any coordination jobs. It's like basically an audio resume. But the
Nice
point is that we are like a lot of us are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 degrees away from each other.
for sure.
Um, I just want to chime in this one point
Yeah, go
specifically
ahead, go ahead.
on younger people, right? Young people look at like that as like an extremely cool story, and I wish I had. But there's a part of me that actually lived with a lot of regret
Okay,
within that story,
okay,
right? Because I didn't have the mentor at the time to say, you know what, you should do business with just like this.
Right.
Like maybe you should co-manage him with his manager,
Right.
right? And you guys could do it together,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
because the manager he had at the time, she was very on point, organized. She was like a pit bull. She had all her stuff in order.
Hmm.
And but I was the creative on the
Okay.
floor, you
Right.
know. So I said combined, we could do some serious damage, but I wasn't thinking like that.
Right.
I'm
Right.
thinking that's my homeboy. He's
Yeah.
gonna do some beats for me. I'm gonna give him some money,
Yeah.
and we're gonna make music together. And I didn't think.
Right.
And then he got with G Roberson and Gene Nelson, and the rest is Rockefeller
Yeah.
history.
Yeah. That's interesting, man, because I mean, you think about it because sometimes when you first start out in this game and you work with people, you don't really think about the business of it sometimes because one, you're just having a good time, and a lot of times creatives don't really like to talk business. You know what I'm saying? Some
I
people,
don't. I still don't like it to this day,
right?
but I do it. I have no other choice.
You have right. You have to right. There are some producers or some people that I've learned that like they hate talking business, so they let their managers do it. Some of them, they don't mind it. They just do what they got to do. Hey, what's your budget? What can you do? Blah 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 blah. They
Yeah,
figure it out, right? But it's so like you said, it's important to recognize where you could have made different steps, and who knows what that would have done for your career. You know what I'm saying? If you had
yeah,
did that. You know what I'm saying? Now you guys still cool to this day? Do you guys
yeah.
talk?
I went. I was at his birthday party a couple months ago.
Oh, very
I had my
cool.
I had my son there. I love Just. Like Just is one of my favorite people. We've like because when we get together, it's not agenda based.
Right. It's
Like
just it's
it's
it's just
like
yeah.
it's just that's my guy. Like
Right, right, right.
because we didn't really meet under those types of
Exactly.
circumstances. We
Right.
met under creative
Right,
circumstances,
right. I love
you
that.
know.
Hmm.
So I love Transformers and Marvel. He loves Transformers and Marvel. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He has a family value system. His mom, his aunt, his sister, his brother, they're all beautiful people. And so we have a lot in common in that regard. Even though we don't have we never got into like formal business. We made money together over the
Right.
years,
Right,
but
right, right.
we never had anything like formally like I specifically am this title with you.
I hear you, man. I hear you. Let's talk about, stuff you've done in the fashion world, man. And how you kind of see fashion and music influencing brands, like, and things like that. So I always feel like they go together. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Um, but I think even now with the brand alignment that you can do now with artists and different things like that, I think it still plays a key role. What are your thoughts on that?
I well, my mom, is a fashion illustrator and designer, right?
Okay,
She worked for Ralph Lauren for 22 years. She was the VP of design there for women's collection, and she
okay,
did men's, children's also. But I grew up like
around it.
she was there in '86,
Oh, okay.
right? For 22 years. So she conceptualized the polo bear,
Oh,
right?
wow.
Like
That's
she
ma
did a lot of, yeah, it's not something I really talk. People who know me know,
right.
but she doesn't own patents and rights
Right,
to the
right,
bear.
right, 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 right,
Unfortunately,
right,
that'd be a
right,
different story, and I'd be
right,
funding every artist I ever meet.
right,
But
right, right,
that's
right,
not the case. That's not the case.
right,
But so I grew up around it. It just was never my natural calling. I'm a sweatshirt, hoodie, cargo shorts, short like
yeah.
white Air Maxes, and I'm out the door.
Okay,
Like,
got you.
you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, like I have most of my wardrobe is polo,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So we used to call each other the Polo Boys. I mean, all my guys back at Blunt and like 88 Keys, like a lot of us, we have that in common,
Okay.
right? Sean Price. There's a
Yeah.
whole thing with Sean Price online
Right.
who's talking about who has the most polo. I'm gonna hands down, it's Thurston Howell,
Okay.
right?
Yeah, I know.
Because
Yes, I know who you're talking about. Exactly. Yeah.
because with me, and he's in Orlando too,
Okay.
right? Thurston's out down south of Orlando, but
Okay.
he. But the point being is that that was my hustle back in high school. Like
Nice.
I used to get like 80 off,
Right.
80% off.
Okay.
So I used to give people 50 and you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah, I feel
So
you.
so I was that was my first introduction to hustling.
Okay.
I took that mentality
To the music
and
business.
brought it to music,
Yeah.
right? But
Uh,
what happened was my mom retired, right?
mhm.
And when she retired, I was like, oh, let me see if I could get you some work. Now, mind you, it was not really business first. It was definitely like, I just want to put my mom in a room with Tony Yayo and see what that is.
Right.
Right?
Okay.
'Cause my mom's a Brooklynite. She's like, my mom, just to say, she came from like both my nothing,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
Brooklynites, like, but her talent, she's like Forrest Gump. She like tripped and fell on a lot of amazing life things with
Right.
talent.
Right.
And I was like, so my mom's like, hi, how are you? You know, blah, blah, blah. So I'm going, I want to put her in a room with Busta Rhymes. So I have it on video. So
Okay.
Busta's like, Audrey, you're like the sensei. She's like, what the she says, what the sensei? Right? He's like, you're
Okay.
like a master teacher, right? Oh,
I could
that's so nice of you,
I could just
right?
imagine Buster just now. I could just in my head think about that. That's so cool.
And you know what? A lot of times it was like, yeah, she's making money from it. Like she designed like his outfit at the BET Awards with Chris
Okay.
Brown
Okay.
back then, and then she was helping Yayo's wife at the time
Mm-hmm.
do something, you know,
Mm-hmm.
that whatever. So I said, Mom, I want you to do the Yayo dance with Yayo. You know what I'm saying? And I'm sitting there and I'm like, who else could we get? So
Right. Right.
my guy Che Pope hits me and is like, yo, Matt, I want to know if your mom would be interested in working with Kanye. Now,
Mm.
mind, this is 2011, Watch the Throne Kanye.
Okay.
Now, I coordinated Kanye's first feature overseas in 2002,
Okay.
right?
Talk about that for a second.
So I'll bridge the two
Okay.
stories.
Okay.
So basically, I was a talent production coordinator. So people overseas would hit me up and go, Matt, we love what you did with your record. Can you do that for us? Can you get us Mob Deep? Can you get us Most Def? Can you get us on our beats on our artist records overseas?
Okay.
So one of the people was like, yo, Kanye wanted to get out there. He only had Through the Wire at the time,
That's time. Yeah.
right? And a feature on Jay-Z album,
Okay.
right? He was rapping on Jay-Z album.
Right. Right. Right.
And I don't remember which album
Right.
exactly.
Right. Right.
But the point was, so me and another friend of mine, Justin, we coordinated Kanye for this overseas project,
Okay.
right? So now, mind you, me and 88 are like this, and 88 and Kanye are like this.
Okay.
So we all connected. There was a comfortability that was there,
Okay.
right? So I had a lot of fun. I was around him a lot. He had a lot of different sessions. He was producing on, and we would link up. And you know, in Doug Infinite, I've known No ID and Doug Inf since those days as well, even back to Relativity. So there was all this like small connection to that Kanye. So I would go to like the not the Jimmy Fallon show. It was the Carson Daly show, and I have the pass up here on the
Okay.
wall
Okay.
right when we were there.
Yeah.
And it was just me, Daniel Glogauer, 88 Keys, Consequence. And Consequence was my guy from back when putting out records in the 90s too.
Okay.
So all like you said, this one degree
Mm-hmm.
or whatever.
Right.
Years later, in 2011, so almost 10 years later,
Okay.
me and Kanye and Che link up with my mom.
Okay.
At the time, Ye didn't connect that I was the same guy
Oh. Okay.
that coordinate. So 88 said, you know that's the guy that connected you with your first feature overseas,
Oh.
right?
Wow. Wow.
And he said, "Oh, small world. That's crazy."
Right.
So 88 always would big me up to Ye at the time,
Okay.
right? So we go down there. My mom's got her portfolio with her, like her prototype book at the Mercer Hotel, and she's showing him the work, et cetera, et cetera. And he says, "Yo, I want you to help me design for my women's line, right? I think it was called Pastel, or it
Yeah.
was it was before Adidas,
Okay.
right? Anyway, fast forward, I take my mom to the Watch the Throne tour. I have her standing on a chair like the whole time. She's
Okay.
like she's by far the oldest person up in here. So she's staring at the stage. So she sees Jay-Z coming up the stage, and then all of a sudden everybody turns around and she's like, "Why is everybody not looking this way?" And then all of a sudden there's a stage behind us that pops up and Kanye's on top of it performing. So then I had to turn my mother around. It was like and and Philly is wild. Like
Okay.
Philly's like, that's a rough crowd.
Yeah.
That's not regular. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Right.
But again, I documented all of that. I learned, people, you know, have a lot to say about Kanye now. But
Okay.
I'll
Okay.
share something back then that he taught me,
Okay.
right? Because I was with him a lot,
Okay.
right? All across, we traveled everywhere,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And I was quiet a lot. I wasn't taking pictures like that. I would maybe photograph or video things around them,
Mm-hmm.
but not
Then it's, yeah.
that
Right.
direct because I didn't want to ruin the job for my mother. And
Ex-
huh?
Exactly. Exactly. No, you're
You
right.
gotta read the room. You gotta
Yeah.
read the room,
Yeah.
right? And
Yeah.
when you would see other people doing it and him barking on them, you're going, well, let's kind of avoid that,
Right.
right?
Right. Right. Right.
So my anyway, my mom had said something to him, and I was like, oh man, because she's no filter. I was like,
Okay. Okay.
I'm like, don't screw the money up, ma. You know. So she goes ahead and she says to him, "Are you humble?" And right, and he
Oh.
says, no. He said, "I'm gracious. I'm grateful for everything I have on this earth, but
Mm-hmm.
I'm only here 100 years, and I'm not dimming my light for anybody."
Mm.
Right.
Mm. Okay.
And I sat there and a light bulb went off inside of me. And I
Okay.
said, how many years have I dimmed my light to make others more comfortable?
Right.
Right. And I did that a lot.
Okay.
Right. So it was this thing of like sometimes you don't even know your own value
Yeah.
because of the dimming of that light.
That is
You
true. That is true.
and I saw it in him and I was like, you know what? Don't apologize for being dope.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
You don't have to be a dick. You don't have
Right.
to be over arrogant. You don't have to be Kanye.
Right.
Right? You can be you, but be your authentic you. And when I heard that, he told me something else too. When I was at his house and when we went out west, I said, "Man, he wasn't even sleeping like that. He was taking naps,
Mm-hmm.
right?"
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I said, "Man, you got to do this and you got to do it all over again tomorrow." He's like, "Not got to, want to."
Right.
He said, "Got to is task orientated, want to is passion orientated."
Right. Right.
Right. And he said, start watching how you think
Yeah.
and adjust that a little bit, and you're going to find yourself with a big difference of results.
Man, that is,
And
bro, that is so true. There's so much to unpack there. A lot of us, because we're kind of trained, even when it comes to social media, you're like, well, you brag to know. You gotta talk to me like when you have a milestone, something special, like I don't have any problem posting and talking about it because if I don't talk about what I'm doing, who's gonna know? And
yeah,
who's gonna know my value? Because these days with social media, that's how people, cause okay, they watch you. They watch what
yeah,
you have going on, and that builds trust without you even talking to that person. For you know what I'm trying to say. So
yeah,
so I think it's important. It goes back to kind of dimming your light, like because some people might say, "Oh, you're bragging." It's not a bragging. It's letting people know I'm putting in the work. These are the results that's happening, and
yeah,
and people because people want to work with the best possible people they can possibly work with. And I always say, for me, in terms of coaching clients and things like that, there's a lot of people that I personally know. We all do the we all coach, we all do, but there's enough space for all of us to do what we do. There's no reason for me to
yeah,
hate on somebody else because they do what I do, or they may get some money in their pocket. And I might not. It's okay because who's for me is for me, right? So
yeah.
I love that you said that, man. That is so profound. That's real talk. That is real talk.
Because I was looking for that for a long time, even to this day, even at my age,
Hmm.
I'm looking for you know, like people I can learn from
Right.
and grow with, and then I could teach at the same time. So as you're learning, you're teaching, and like there's a like being the smartest guy in the room gets tired.
Yes.
And
Yes.
and I look at it and I said the lessons that I learned. I even wrote a book. It's not out yet, but I finished this book,
Okay.
and it's 7 chapters, 7 stories of experiences I had. One of them is the Kanye story. It's more
Okay.
in depth,
Right.
but it's like, man, the things I learned in a couple of weeks from people. What if I was around that every other week or
Right.
daily?
Right.
You know how much you would grow, like whether it be
Right.
RZA, Snoop Dogg, this one or that. It's not about the cool factor.
Yeah.
It's about the wisdom
Right.
that allows, like RZA, and like okay, so for the couple of years at Full Sail was great in the film program. I was in digital cinematography, right?
Right. Right. Right.
But I said, let me tell you, in 40 minutes, RZA gave me a masterclass,
Okay.
right? And he blew my mind. And he gave me information I had waited years for.
Right.
What's your format? What's your log line? What,
Yeah.
how are you going to do your sizzle reel? Blah, blah,
Right.
blah, blah, blah. And he
Mm-hmm.
did it right after a Wu-Tang show in Jacksonville with Nas like a year
Mm.
and a half ago.
Mm.
And I'm like, this guy took his time out right after Wu-Tang performed to randomly just help me with that,
Right.
And
Right.
I've been it's eternally grateful because it's like that's all you ever really want is some guidance out here,
Yeah.
even at this stage.
Yeah.
It
That's
never stops.
that's real talk. That's real talk. Yeah, man. No, that is so true, man. Everything that we've been talking about with that of understanding, and the fact that you have people that care enough to just drop that type of information just because they care. You know what I'm saying? I think that's so cool that RZA did that and that you know.
No, it's mind blowing and it's humbling at the same time. Like I don't take things like that for granted. And like I think people just need to understand why they're in this and what their priorities are, right?
Yeah.
Like and I could tell you, like, see, like this big canvas is just full of photos. I have
Hmm.
tons of canvases around the apartment.
Hmm.
Um, and people want to be in these moments, right? But
Hmm.
I can tell everybody firsthand that a lot of it's fleeting.
Mm.
Meaning, like, oh, okay, great. We took a quick pick together, or I did a quick job. I got paid. I paid the rent. I paid this, and then I chased the next one.
Yeah.
It's you can't live in it.
Right.
Like you can't live in these moments, like
Okay.
where it's just like or it makes you feel like you're validated. No, it's like, what are you like? For me, it's the documentary has a purpose, so that's what excites me. Is when
Yeah.
I got advice to help me with this film.
Right. Right.
But it wasn't just about, yeah, it's cool. I mean, there's, I'll be honest, I'm a sports head, so I was more
Okay.
geeked kicking it with Stephon Marbury than I was, Mob Deep, no, rest in peace, Prodigy.
Right.
But
Right.
like
Right. Right. Right.
those different things excited me, like,
Right.
but people I think nowadays are searching too much outside themselves for validation.
Oh, that Matt, bro, you hit that on the head. I think, especially now with social media, because you can watch people journeys on it, which is a good thing at times, right? But then you kind of like, dang, why is it happening for them and not happening for me? And a lot of people have to get caught in that trap, right? Well, I do that with artists all the time. I'm like, look, no, a mentor told me a long time ago, no two artists' career path is ever exactly the same. It's never
Yeah.
the same.
You
Right?
can, and I can tell you this, as much as people might go to my Instagram and look at, the pictures and they see me with everybody and their mother, I still feel that way as well a lot of times. Where
Right.
I'm going, why? Because it's relative,
Okay.
right? Meaning like I might see a friend of mine become like multi entrepreneurial millionaire,
Right.
right? And I might see another friend having executive produced 10 million gold platinum albums,
Okay.
right? And they have residual income. And I'm sitting here going, God, why can't you just let this one thing happen? Like, or why can't you let this other thing? If this person says yes, it changes my life.
Right.
If they say no, then I'm still back doing certain things I don't want to necessarily do. you know. And a lot of times, it is like a God complex
Yeah.
because and it's a test of your faith and it's a test of, what do you believe in? And it's a test of a lot of that stuff where you're just like, and it's confusing. And I can tell you even 2 days ago, I had a long talk, very just chill talk with God,
Okay.
and I'm just like, God, like I want to take care of my family and my son and all these different things in a manner I deem respectable,
Right.
right? So it's like 88 got put into an amazing position because Kanye said yes,
Okay.
right? Stat Quo got signed to Shady Aftermath because Dr. Dre and Eminem said yes,
That's yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
We could go on and on. Rockefeller and Jay Z and
Yeah.
them just they said yes.
Okay.
They could have said yes to somebody else, but
Right.
they said yes to them. So
Right.
somewhere along this journey, someone has to say,
Yes. Yes.
unless you are a YouTube influencer, but even then, your fans have to say yes.
Yes.
That's the
So-
guy.
Somebody had to say yes. If you're an independent artist trying to build a career and you got to get your 1,000 fans, your core fans, you know, people got to say yes. People got to buy into what you got going on. So at some point, somebody got to say yes. Somebody got to say, "Hey, I want to support you. I want to take
I
my
believe in you.
yeah, I want to take my hard-earned money and purchase what you have, right? Or what you're bringing to the table or bringing to the marketplace."
Yeah.
So that's still somebody saying yes, you know? So
And you know what? I'm big believer in do the work, right? So
absolutely.
I do the heavy lifting. I'm like, oh yeah, okay. When like even talking to RZA, I'm
Hmm.
going. You want to see the highlights from the film? I already traveled and did all the recording. This
Hmm.
is past proof of concept. This is proof of concept.
Hmm.
So I'm showing him I get down. You know what I'm saying? Even when I have a new artist, I'm like, here it is. Listen to it. Look at how it's developed. I have a book. I don't talk about just having a book. I go, here's the book. I'm going to send you the prototype. Like,
Right.
I'm on it. So, sometimes that can get frustrating when you just don't know what else to do. You're like, all right, I was with Quincy Jones, Ralph Lauren, and Michael Jackson jumping off the moon. Like, what else do you want from me?
Right.
So I'm just saying that out loud in a sort of transparent way so that people know it never really ends the learning.
Right. Oh,
The
it's true.
journey doesn't stop at it. There's no finish line in this race.
Right.
It's one pole position after another checkpoint after another checkpoint.
Yeah.
It never ends.
No, it's true. I mean, it's true. This, I think a lot of people from the outside looking in, right, think about the entertainment. They don't think about it as a real career, Pat. They don't think about it as a real job, right? Because it's just because it really is. Unless you're working corporate, unless you have unless you're working for a label or whatever it is you're doing, where you're getting a check every week.
Yeah.
A lot of this is very entrepreneurial. It's very grinded, very because that's what I've had to do. When I left Full Sail, nobody gave me, nobody said nobody because there was an opportunity for me because I knew I couldn't leave Orlando, so I had to make it happen. So it wasn't I could go and work for a management company in LA or do something. So I said I got to figure this out myself, my own way. So
Yeah,
that can be daunting, you know,
no doubt
especially
about it.
in my case because there's nobody that I could point to and say that person has cerebral palsy and he's in the entertainment business, he or she's in the entertainment business, and I can kind of mimic that path a little bit to get to where I want to go.
Right.
I remember sitting down with my career dev rep. Guy's name is David, real cool dude. But I knew that he wasn't going to be able to do much for me because of my situation. I just knew it because of I knew I couldn't travel, I couldn't leave because a lot of fact for me, weather's a big play, right? Transportation, I don't drive, so a lot of those things matter, right? So it wasn't just I couldn't just be like, okay, I want to go to LA. That's way too far, right? It's okay. I'm not gonna go to Nashville. It snows. All right, Atlanta's kind of same thing, like and then Miami. I'm in Orlando, so I said I'm gonna have to stay in Orlando because it's where my support system is at the time, and still
Yeah.
is now. So I said, okay, well, I have a lot of relationships. How do I figure this out? And I was fortunate enough to, meet a young lady named Deli Rowe out of Richmond, Virginia, who didn't know me from a can of paint. She saw me on Facebook. She trusted me and let me use some of my relationships to help her get a #1 record on the UK soul charts. And like that kind of started it. Then I worked with an artist named Marty Price out here, and he's doing amazing things now. And these are all people that I was able to touch hands on. I had to figure out, okay, what's my path? Because so my path with Double M Manager the marketing group, I used to want to be a man, just be a manager, manage a whole bunch of talent. I quickly realized that a manager is a thankless job, and
Oh, no doubt about
it is a thankless job. And in order to make real money, just doing management commissions alone, like you got to have a lot of artists bringing in a lot of money. And I think it, so I think it's different now. I think going after a 20 to 25% commission, is not what it should be now, right? So for me, I said, okay, I'm just gonna be a consultant. I'm gonna advise, and I'm gonna see what happens with that. Then in 2016, I decided to start going overseas to a conference called MEDEM in Cannes, France. I don't know if you're familiar with MEDEM. It was basically
it. Yeah.
where the international music industry comes together. And so my OG Alan Johnston, my mentor, he's like 80 years old now, and he's been doing this thing for like
Wow.
50, 60 years, still doing it
Mhm.
at that level, right? So he kind of showed me, but even before that, let me go back to 2010. My man Terry Bello. I don't know if you know who Terry Bello is.
No, I don't know.
Yeah, so he's a big radio guy. So he started the International Soul Music Summit. So I was going to his conference before Full Sail. And speaking of Kanye, Greg was cool with I'm sorry, Terry was cool with Greg Lewis, right?
Okay.
You know who Greg. So Greg Lewis was like one of Kanye's guys, right? What's the rap group that he just went on tour? Uh, Something Syndicate. Anyway, Greg,
Rhyme Syndicate.
yeah, I think Greg Lewis. Yeah, um, so Greg and Kanye was real cool. Like him and JIV and Kanye,
Yeah.
they were all yeah. So that's the first time I kind of met him. So Terry Bello played a big role in my journey early on, and Terry's like my big brother when I see him, but all the time I haven't seen him in a long time, but we just talked a few weeks ago. But I'm like, man, and so coming full circle, um, Full Sail has this thing where you can share your story, right? So I clicked on it and I kind of shared my story, kind of what I've been doing. Been featured in 20 plus magazines, been over 10 plus countries around the world, help a lot of artists, and and somebody finally hit me back, because even during Hall of Fame, like shout out to Israel Vasquatelli, who I'm going to link you to, that can help set you up to be a guest speaker, because I know I still want to do
I
that
would
for
love
you.
that.
Still want to
I
do
would
that
love
for
that.
you. And if you anything you know about Israel Vasquatelli, he started Insomniac Magazine.
Yeah.
So yeah, so he started Insomniac Mag. So he has been at Full Sail for 20 years. But it's funny because with him, he was never my instructor. We just built a relationship on campus all the way back then, and even now, he's one of my dearest mentors and friends.
That's
And
great.
so he always looks out for me when it comes to Full Sail in terms of like going to Hall of Fame and being on panels, because like I live right down the street from the school and nobody ever calls me to do behind the scenes. I don't,
I mean, trust me, I hit up many people saying I want to do it. I hit up the alumni, I hit up this and I hit up that because I'm like, you have like because I'm kind of just cool. Like I
yeah,
don't really throw it out there of like
what
everything I've
you
done and
done.
who I know because I'm just enjoying the experience,
Right.
right? But I'm like, man, I get down. And I
Yeah.
like sometimes I'm going and I'm sitting there in classes, when I was in like I
Okay.
graduated.
Yeah,
But when I
yeah.
was in there, I was saying to myself, like, where's the practical information?
Okay.
Right? Meaning I'm hearing all the technical stuff. I'm hearing the f stop and the s log and the and the lighting and then the blah 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 and what's the extreme long shots and I'm going, what about when I get out of here?
Mm-hmm.
What is that like?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going, no, see, like I have a very unique experience when it comes to people and situations because when you come up in the 90s
Mm-hmm.
in the music business, in particular hip hop,
Mm-hmm.
you're talking about the golden era. You're talking about the evolutions of Eminem's. You're talking
Mm-hmm.
about the evolutions of Murder Inc.'s and G
Mm-hmm.
Unit.
Right.
You're talking about the evolution of Capone and Noriega to Nori.
Right.
You're seeing the Just Blazes become who they are. All these different people, Kweli,
Yeah.
Black, all of that.
Yeah.
And what it is, it's not just watching how great these people are, it's their learning curve, it's their journey that I'm literally like, if I had a GoPro on my head
You're like,
and I
yo,
was
yeah.
able to like record
Right.
something, I'm going
Yeah.
back then. We didn't like having cameras,
Right.
right?
Right.
Only a few people have throwbacks.
Yeah. Yeah.
People are like, ah, you're a fanboy. Don't, you taking
Yeah.
pictures in the
Right.
studio.
Right.
But the point being is you then go through the 2000s and the Rough Riders and you see all these other Interscope and Dr. Dre's and Snoop Dogg's and then you're getting into the 2010s and the 15s and the 20s and
Yeah.
you're seeing how technology is changing,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
How people are consuming music, how they're consuming compared to the way we were consuming then,
Right.
right?
Right.
And you're like, well, how do you make a difference out here? And the conversations most people are not privy to, which are when Dr. Dre's sitting in a room and he's letting you know the reason why you're not where you want to be as an artist? Because it's not just about how dope you are. It's
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. You're right.
and that was then.
Yeah.
What's your identity,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
That Cole used to tell me all the time, oh, that song is dope, but who's your audience?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? I'm going, what
Yeah.
do you mean who's the audience? That shit is dope. Right? And he'll be like,
Uh-huh.
no, like Tyler the Creator, Mac Miller, God bless him. Like
Right.
he's speaking to very specific audiences
Yeah. Yeah.
and then growing them from there.
Right.
I was in a ton of game sessions when we were working. He was working on Jesus piece in 2011
Okay.
and I was there every day for months. And what I
Okay.
saw was, I said, I see what you're doing. Every song has his identity in it.
Okay.
Like it's a song about a girl, or it's a song about a hard joint, or a battle joint, or whatever it is. He got Compton, Blood, and every other street you drive down where he's from.
Okay.
In Yo, I took her on a date and we went down Slauson and went da 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 da. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
like infusing himself and who he is into everything,
Hmm. Hmm.
right? And I think what happens is that's part of the education and insight that younger people don't know,
Yeah.
right?
It's
They're going,
true.
nah, my shit's dope. My shit's dope.
Yeah.
Okay. Now you have a gazillion people
Yeah.
in one pool
Yeah.
pushing forward in the same lane that all are dope.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
How do you
What
move?
sets you apart? Yeah. What sets you
What
apart?
sets you? And
Yeah.
then people don't, and that might take some time. Like that
Yeah.
might not be an overnight sort of flux capacitor, idea that came about. You know what I mean?
That's so true. That's the premise of what I'm all about. I say core audience. One of the things I teach is called this framework that I've coined is called a genesis of superfan building. Right. So you break that down, that means the beginning of building superfans, right? Because everything
Yeah.
today starts off on social media. So, but before we can even do that part, you got to know who you are and what you bring to
Right.
the right. So there's something I talk about the brand positioning statement. And so it's the community that you want to serve, who you are, why should
Yeah.
somebody care, right? And after
Yeah.
that, we talk about the buyer fan persona. This was actually an old class project, school project that I adapted back from 2013, and I still teach it now. But it's what I came with back then.
That's
But
dope.
but the buyer fan persona is so important because you got to know people focus so much on the demographics of people, the who, the what, the when, the where. What I care more about is the psychographics, because that's going to
Right.
tell you who going to know who you're talking to, why do people do what they do, what's the why. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of times I'll teach this stuff, man, and artists they've never done any of this stuff before. And so it's like when I
Yeah.
when I teach it, because you're right. It's about who is your audience. Like Spotify, there's 100,000 songs uploaded every single day, and there's always being something thrown at you. Now we have TikTok, and then and Spotify is only paying you 0.0003 per stream. You know what I'm saying? And so we're trying, and that part of it is broken. We've got to fix it for the independent artists because the streaming model is just not going to work for the. That's a whole other conversation. But the
That's a whole
oh no,
show.
that's a whole show by itself.
Self.
But the premise of it is who's your audience, what's your core? Because I think about a guy like Tory Lanez. He was figuring it out, and he had an audience that was growing with him over time, right? Because he didn't have it easy. When you think about somebody like a Chris Brown, because Chris Brown and Trey Songz came out right around the same time, right? But if you notice, Chris Brown kind of shot right up to Trey had to work his way up, but Trey didn't just,
Well,
what's your thoughts on that?
Chris had a couple other things going for him too. I mean, Chris is a dancer
Yeah,
on top of that. So he was doing that. It's like who you're around also, your management,
yeah,
the producer, all that stuff is timing,
yeah.
you know, and with back then it was the record. You got to have that record.
Oh yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
so Chris Brown had a few where until Trey had what was that record he had? He had a couple of records. Anyway, that's a whole other
Yeah,
conversation.
yeah.
But yeah, I mean, what separates one from another sometimes is I think a combination of who you're around and divine intervention.
Oh my gosh, that is so true. So sometimes because nowadays, right? See, man, when you were coming up, you could kind of manipulate the system. You could force feed records down people's throat with radio, different things like that, right? Nowadays, like record companies, I guess they're kind of getting a stranglehold because they're doing all these back end deals with the streaming companies and things like that. But back then, you could say, okay, this is going to be the single. And this is what we're going to force down people's throat. We're going to put this on radio, and it's going to be the record, right? Because if you had a record go to radio, and it was quality, you're going to do pretty well, especially if you produced the song too. You know,
It's
well,
it's a different time and day for how music is
yes,
consumed by people.
yes,
It
yeah,
it used to be you have your singles off an album,
right,
and then you have your college radio street record
okay,
that you promo in between your main singles.
okay.
And you just go perform those,
Okay. Talk
and
well,
then you go,
talk about that role. Talk about the role of college radio. I mean, that interests me.
yeah.
Talk about that role of how that played a role back then in the rollout.
I don't know now, but I could say
No, back then.
then.
I'm talking about back then, not now. Back then.
Then then was Gavin and CMJ reporters, right? So you had different stations that were bigger than others. But at NYU had a big bandwidth, right? So what you would do is you would take your record on a DAT straight out the studio,
Right,
and you would go down to the station. And if Stretch and Bob, if you were on some hip hop shit, right?
right.
Let's
Yeah,
just say
yeah,
you
okay,
were a
yeah.
hip hop artist,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Not major,
yeah.
right?
Yeah,
Independent.
right,
If you had Stretch and Bob play your joint, and you had Pete Rock and Marley Marl play your joint,
right,
and then you had Mayhem and DJ Riz play your joint,
right.
the next day your pre-sales were going up,
Wow.
right? So what they used to do with these distribution companies, they would create a one sheet.
Okay,
On this one sheet would say so and so artist featuring so and so, produced by so and so, put out by this label, and they would have test presses or cassettes,
okay.
and they would go out to the stores. So the college radio would affect your sales immediately,
Wow.
especially if Stretch loved it and he played it continually. I would jump from 3,000 to 5,000 to 10,000 to 15,000 to almost 20,000 sales
Mm,
on a vinyl.
mm,
Do the math. So if that thing costs you $2.75 to make, you're
right.
selling it for $5 and you're profiting 225, right?
Yeah.
your pre-sales come back before they're even shipped off, you can see how many the stores want.
Right.
So let's say if they want 10,000 times two whatever,
Yeah.
now you're talking $22,500,
Yeah.
right? Minus your expenses on what you paid for the production, the studio, the mixing, the mastering, and the artwork, and the college radio promo money that you would pay independent contractors.
Right.
And you would say, this is my profit margin. And then you would take that money, you'd split it with the artist. Me and artist did 50-50 deals.
Okay.
I said, after I get my money back, we're going to go half and half
Gotcha.
because without you, there's no record. And without me, there's no record. So we're
Gotcha.
going to go 50-50,
Gotcha.
right? Then they were doing features for 1,500, 2,000, 3,000, 1,000, whatever. So but back then, independent was frowned upon.
Mm. Okay.
If you were independent,
Right.
you were like, all right, that's cool. That's like little brother playing in the sandbox. Like, all right,
Yeah.
we're on Loud, we're
Yeah.
on Bad Boy, we're
Yeah.
on Tommy Boy,
Right.
we're on Major. We
Right.
we we want to be where Redman's at. We don't want to be independent.
Right.
So, but now they're like going, wow, I took that time for granted because that wasn't easy. Like being able to do records with everybody and their mother and make money
Right.
and be able to make other money and then travel overseas doing
Right.
shows every. So I think what it is it's now independent has become the cool thing,
Yeah. Yeah.
right?
It's the
And
buzzword.
everyone, I'm
It's the
independent,
buzzword.
I'm independent.
It's the
But
buzzword. Yeah.
but I mean,
What does that mean? Yeah. Yeah.
I'll end the subject off at this
Okay.
is that I know how much it takes to break a lot of these artists and records
Okay.
because I've seen people dump tens of thousands
Okay.
into something with
Okay.
no guarantee of a return,
Gotcha.
right? So I'm sitting here saying to myself, going, okay, yeah, you're independent, but how long can you keep that up for?
Yeah.
Eventually, you're going to need to take care of your kid. Eventually, you're going to need to take care of your home. How are you doing that off speculation?
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's the hard part being, an artist. And then it's like, then you see who really loves it
Yeah.
if they're willing to stay the course.
No, it's true. It's true, right? So because now you have to kind of build an infrastructure on your own, right? There is nobody coming to create the infrastructure for you, right? But what it is now, man, is it's about data now. So data is what you need, right? Because if you're doing a bunch of shows, but you don't know who those people are, like to me, the show doesn't end until you get off the stage, you shake everybody's hand, and somebody's getting every email and every phone number of people in the crowd. That's when the show ends. That's when the performance to me ends. It's because if you don't have that data, then how do you can't that show doesn't work for you. You might have got paid, but the data is what you need. You know,
Which means you have to have a good infrastructure because you're not going to be doing all of that legwork.
right,
These artists don't want to think that deeply.
right,
You know what I'm saying?
right.
They're like, oh, what are my analytics? They're like, man, I just want to go out there and get my shit going,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So hence why the manager is now so important.
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
so the issue with a lot of new artists
Mm-hmm.
is they don't create enough income for really talented managers to want to
That
commit
that
time.
that is that bro, you are cooking right now, bro. That is real talk. That's why I'm saying
Real
it's a
shit.
it's a
Real shit.
thankless job because if you are a new artist, a manager, if this is what they do and this is all they do, they might think you're cool, you're dope, but they can't commit the type of time that's required to build you even if you have something to manage, by the way, because some artists don't have anything to manage. So what happens? A lot of
100%.
artists are doing is a lot of managers are doing like me. They're consulting. They're consulting and they're charging a fee, and you're kind
Yeah.
of still getting them as a pseudo manager, but because it's rare to find somebody that's like I'm gonna build with you, and I know it's not gonna be no money, but I believe in you. That it's hard to find that now. But you're so right. You're so right. You don't have there's not enough artists making enough money to where they can hire. And by the way, if you're a new artist, I wouldn't necessarily tell you to work with a big name manager right out the gate. I don't know if that's the right. I don't know if that's the right approach for somebody
If
that's
you
just
could get it, take it.
yeah,
right? Because if you know how to manipulate your association with that person, meaning, let's say I have a manager and it's Ray Daniels.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah,
Ray Daniels is my manager.
yeah,
If Ray doesn't have time for me,
yeah,
Ray's busy podcasting and
yeah,
Ray's busy with Rock City and
yeah.
whatever else he's doing.
Right, 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 right,
I
right.
need to go take that and go into these rooms and go, yo, what are you doing? Oh man, me and Ray are blah blah blah. Yo, Ray, I'm managed here by Ray Daniels because in their mind, they know we can't pay that guy less than a certain amount because he messes with Ray,
That's what you mean. Yeah.
right? We can't do that. He's a Ray Daniels client.
Right, right, right,
He got to get at least X, Y, and Z.
right, right.
Okay. And then from there, if it doesn't work for you, I mean, I'll give you, for instance, like Boy Wonder,
Okay.
was rocking with different managers for a period of time. I managed Boy Wonder with my guy Neville for like a year, but it's before Drake,
Yeah.
right? And he felt like with the next person and the next person that they weren't doing enough, and he moved on, and they were big people,
Okay.
right? But the point was is that he had already established himself. He didn't need that association. He needed the physical work.
Right.
But sometimes you got to spin doctor things in this business
Yeah.
because perception is power,
Yeah. That's
right?
real. That's real.
So, and I'll say it like your stat quo signed to Dr. Dre and Eminem.
Okay.
I ran Grown Man Music with a couple other people. I ran the music production side of Grown Man Music.
Okay.
Right? Okay. People are like, just because stat is associated with Dre and M, we want to hear what you got. And then when you come with something that they love, now you're rolling. So
Right.
there's a magazine, bro. I could even show you the magazine, but there's the Source, Double XL, Vibe, all these things where we're in pictures next to Dr. Dre, Salam Remy, Timberland, all you name it.
Right.
Right? What the hell are we doing in there?
Right. Right. Right.
Comparison, right?
Right.
But we're in there,
Right.
right?
Right. Right. Right.
Because we're associated with something that is extremely special,
Right.
but the product we're bringing is dope.
Yeah.
But there's an aspect of spinning things,
Right. Right.
right?
Yeah.
And that's really how good of a PR person are you for your own
Yeah.
thing is, and people could see through when you're BSing. So
Yeah.
you gotta be like, well,
Yeah.
so you have that side of it, which is more a little older thinking. And then you have the new side, which is kids who are literally doing videos out their bathroom with
Hmm.
no association to anything,
Right.
making millions of
Yeah. Yeah.
dollars,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
So you're just saying to yourself of going, what's my journey out here?
Yeah.
Right?
That's real.
And I think that's where it's really important to quiet the mind
Yeah.
and get noise away
Oh, for sure.
and to kind of know that you have your own unique journey.
Oh my gosh. Yes. So true.
It's very important because the more we cross compare, the more stressful it becomes.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Like, yeah, yeah, they say comparison is the thief of joy, and because there's always going to be somebody doing it bigger and better than you. You know what I'm saying? And
Always.
and you're going to be driving yourself, unless you're Michael Jordan. Some people say, I'm a LeBron guy.
No,
Uh,
Michael. Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? I love MJ too, but that's another conversation for another day.
Yeah.
That's the fate. But for some eyes, unless you're Michael Jordan, there's also gonna be somebody better. Somebody doing more than you, right? I mean, I also think too, in terms of managers, everybody has different skill sets. I may not be the guy that's really good at doing the brand deal. So I'm the facilitator guy. Some managers have A&R background. They can go in there and do the music with you. You can do a lot of different things. I'm not that guy. Like I don't, you know what I'm saying? I'm really a relationship dude. I'm a facilitator. I'm a connector. That's what I
Yeah.
that's what I do. So I
A
think
lot of
every
people co-manage. A lot of people,
yeah,
like I had an artist named Keon Bryce,
okay.
and Keon was on Nas double album. There's a war that's going on
Yeah,
outside. He sang "Ain't No Love," da 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 da
Yeah.
for Jay. Carlos said, but anyway, moral of the story is I felt like I could get 20% by myself, and it
Yeah.
could get to this point.
Right.
I could split this with Sha Money XL at G Unit at the time, and G Unit was popping,
Yeah.
right? And that's my guy for many moons.
Right.
And I said I could split my 20 with him and we can go further, right? Because he handles different types of things I don't,
Right.
right? And being around a friend, it's you're also growing because you're watching how he operates and how does the president of G Unit maneuver within all of these spaces,
Right.
right? And I think that people get too caught up in, yo, I want my 20. Or
Right.
would you rather have 100% of nothing?
Right. Right.
Nothing,
No, let me tell you.
right?
Yeah, I think there's some spaces where I did co-managing with an artist for a little while too because it just made sense. It just because sometimes it just makes sense to do it that way. If you care about the artist being successful, you know what I'm saying?
And especially if you don't have a lot of time on your hands, like let's say you're in adult mode and you got a
Yeah,
family, you got all this stuff going on.
yeah,
How are you going to dedicate every single moment of your life to an
yeah,
artist with there's no income coming from it?
yeah,
You
yeah,
have to take a percentage of your time and
yeah.
create income, and then take the other percentage and dedicate it. And you know what? I'll tell you, the real thing I've been dealing with lately
Okay,
is pacing. Pacing.
okay,
I am not great at that.
okay,
I want to conquer the world every day,
okay,
in a day,
okay.
right? Yo, we got a video to do. All right, we're gonna edit and blah, 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 blah. Okay, boom. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do this. And eventually, as you get older, right, it catches up. So you'll find yourself in the hospital maybe here and there,
Yeah.
right? And you're like, oh man, I got bronchitis. Oh man, I have exhaustion. Oh
Hmm.
man, I have dehydration. Oh
Hmm.
man, like because you're you're racing against this clock
Yeah.
in your
Yeah.
head,
Yeah.
and that's the tough part. Or you're like we said, cross comparing, and you're racing against that. Like I'm at this age, they're at that age. I got to get there now,
Right.
right? And
Right.
you come to find out that I learned it from my mother. I'm looking at her and go, she's still trying to figure out how to get her book published, and she's still trying to figure out how to get into certain art galleries. And
Yeah.
I'm saying to myself, man, you're gonna have to peel me off the ground
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
like a fruit roll up.
Right.
Like
Right. Right.
how am I going to do that? And then you start learning like you really do need to pace yourself,
Yeah.
like emotionally, mentally, and physically.
Right.
And it's such a challenge, especially I mean, not to have like an ultra deep convo, but like when I've seen a lot of my friends not here anymore,
Yeah.
right? I have lost a lot of family and friends like in a very short period of time,
Right.
right?
Right.
I mean, just not to play a violin, but I was at a lot of funerals.
Right.
And the point being was I started feeling a clock
Right.
as
Okay.
it was happening because it wasn't just old people anymore. It was
Right.
middle-aged people, it
Right.
was young people, it was
Right.
everybody.
Right. 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 Right.
And you just start getting in the mode of like, how much time do I have out here?
Yeah.
And how much and I got to get on it,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And I could say like these are the stories and the challenges that people don't know on social media. They don't know they don't all they see is the picture.
Right.
They have no idea how I'm feeling or how people like that are feeling
Right.
as they're going through this. And then it's like, yeah, it'd be nice to have somebody go like this. Hey, I got you. You know what? Slow down a little bit.
Yeah.
You're good. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Go get breakfast. Don't just compartmentalize everything. You know what I mean? And it's
Yeah.
like you sometimes have to be your own Yoda.
No,
Like,
that's so, bro. That is so true, man. But we could be here for hours, man, and talk about this.
sorry, my bad.
No, but I want to respect your time, man. So before we get out
Oh,
of here, man, how can the people find you? How can they stay connected to you?
so on Instagram, MatFingazBoc, right? That's Instagram. Matt Fingers BOC, right? Facebook, only if you're really a friend, but that's
Okay.
Matthew Schilt. Matthew
Okay,
Schultz when we're cutting checks.
got you.
Okay. Matt
Absolutely,
Fingers is everything else.
absolutely.
And the reason they call me that is because I get my hands on everything.
I love it, man. Well, guys,
You
look,
know.
this has been a great episode of the Encourage Inspire podcast. Until next time, I'm out of here. It's your host, Durell Peart. Take care. Peace.
Yo.